Okay people, let's keep expectations in check. This is a low budget movie. Now let's talk about the actual Mummy Returns cover first of all, because it kind of looks like it should be part of the kind of official Mummy films that sort of starred Brendan Fraser, and that's obviously by design, but it really has nothing to do with them, so don't be kind of fooled. And I kind of an odd thing anyway, so considering it was a good few years ago that they had the last Mummy film, so it feels strange to have a kind of almost like a mockbuster that's trying to sort of feed off of this kind of much larger franchise that has really kind of disappeared now, and they're even talking about rebooting that franchise. I think it's Universal. So what's this film like? Like I said, the budget here is well under $1 million, and it really shows. However, I will say this, there is one positive for this movie, but let me tell you quick about the plot first of all. So nothing really sort of surprising here. This movie stars no one famous, and you have this kind of famous archaeologist who sort of goes to meet his kind of long lost daughter, and he meets her and her kind of like group of sort of hot female friends, all who are meant to be these kind of archaeology students, but I've never seen archaeology students that look like that and kind of have all that makeup and they're going on digs and things like that. But there you go. And basically he kind of takes them on this kind of dig to try and find this mummy. Of course they encounter some trouble on the way, kind of pad out the running time, and of course they reach the kind of the tomb, and obviously supernatural stuff starts to happen. We kind of see obviously mummies returning from the grave. Now the one positive of this movie is there are some really good practical effects for the budget. A lot of the movie looks like it's shot on green screen, and in some instances that's kind of done for a stylistic purposes. If you look at movies like 300 for example, that really was part and parcel with the film, but here it just kind of looks cheap and kind of looks distracting. But like I said, there are a few instances where we do see kind of practical effects and some kind of practical sets, and I have to say they're not too bad for the actual budget. So I actually thought they did a reasonable job there. But that's really the only kind of positive thing I have to say about the movie, because everything else is kind of just kind of poor and cheap. So the acting is kind of, even the kind of the first sort of few lines that are said, and the first opening scene we have this archaeologist kind of choking on some mysterious sort of supernatural force. Just the way his body language is kind of choking, it just looks crap, and he's just not selling it. So even before he says a word, you can tell he's kind of a bad actor. And the actual other actors are no better. They're really just hired because they're pretty girls at the end of the day. So if you're just kind of not worried about anything other than just watching pretty girls on screen, then there may be something for you here. But the acting overall, like I say, is pretty shoddy. The script will offer you nothing kind of new. There's no real sort of surprise. Unfortunately, they kind of telegraph very early on the kind of what could have been, I guess, a little bit of a twist, but they kind of sell it to you too far early on in the movie. The direction is just very kind of rudimentary and kind of flat. There's nothing really here. It's just a kind of by the numbers, very cheap horror film to kind of knock out quickly, and for some reason try and kind of tie it into this kind of much larger franchise that has pretty much long since died. So apart from kind of unless you're a huge Mummy fan and you kind of just are a collector of all these kind of type of movies, there isn't really much here for you. I have to say I was kind of a little bit bored and kind of just wanted this movie to end. Thankfully it's not a particularly long film, but overall it was kind of a poor effort, I'd say, with the exception of a couple of reasonable effects here. So I'm going to give this movie a 3 out of 10. Have you seen it? What did you think? Leave me a comment and I will look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.